Welcome back, everyone. For those who are just joining us, welcome to the SYC Kansas event. This is round 2, and we just had someone pulled my power cord. Anything can happen at the SYC, everyone. You never know what'll happen. Someone might accidentally
roll a bag right through the power line or something?
I don't know what happened because I left room this time so that if the cord
some
just
slack.
kind of but it just popped out. I have no idea. I went back and sure enough it was unplugged. So hopefully we don't do that again. What game is this? 4?
This
3?
is game 4.
Oh man.
We missed about a frame and a half.
Yeah. So anyway, we're back. Sorry if you were watching a bowler specifically. They'll be back up though. It came back pretty quick though.
It did.
It had some memory. Is Morgan choosing to throw a gem?
Yeah. Kira, looks like Kira makes a move, change to a Nova, I think.
Okay, all right. My inside knowledge tells me that, so there were a couple bowlers that were sat in the booth, and they know North Rock pretty intimately.
Uh-huh.
And the gutters here, topography-wise, are not quite level.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of a slope.
That's why on the short they can't play out
Correct.
so much.
Yeah. And then if you see like Morgan Klein's shot, she got it a little bit to the right, and it just could not make it back up the hill. And that's actually a topography thing, not so much a pattern thing.
That's interesting because didn't they have the queens here?
They did, yeah.
Was that supposed to be? Don't they go in and fix stuff like that?
They tried.
They tried. Okay.
That's what they were saying. The person that was in here was like, they've tried over the years to level them, and it's better than it was.
Right.
But there's a little bit of a slope.
Okay. All right.
And you can look up that. The cool thing is when Queens comes, you can go and look at the topography chart. So they're posted on bowl.com. Fun fact for any
so I bet
bowlers.
for a league house, this is a third arrow shot house instead of a second arrow.
I bet, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So anytime you see the bowlers kind of get it a little too far to the right, if their feet are not square with it, it really has a hard time making it back.
Yeah, if you try to belly it off the gutter, forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's on both sides, left and right?
I don't know about the left side. I know for sure the right-handed side. I'm not sure if it's as severe on the left-handed side, but definitely.
It's just kind of consistent across the house.
That's what I've heard. This is what I've been told. I don't know anything. I just repeat what I hear.
I understand. I understand.
Our friend Kenny Hedgepath is in the chat. Kenny,
oh, wow.
What is going on?
Yeah.
I heard it was Parents' Weekend at Vanderbilt, so I'm wondering if you're over there. And Kenny, we will be going to visit our friends at Chicken and Pickle this weekend. And I heard there is a reserve court for you. You may or may not get a picture. Kenny had a little accident.
He did. I remember that.
A couple years ago. Luckily, everything turned out okay. All right. Kira gets away with it, Brooklyn.
Yep.
Still a strike up there, Kira. Make the most of it.
You want to come on in here and tell us what's going on? You want to tell us what's happening? What's going on with you?
What's going on with what? That shot?
Yeah.
I liked it, and then it hooked 30 feet down. It's probably the rotation.
So you're going to use 2 different balls? You're going to use 2 different balls? Or you're gonna...
That's the same one.
Yeah, I understand. On the left lane, rolled a little bit differently.
Yeah, so
Well, whoa. So we're not having that conversation right now. See, I'm live. I'm on the live stream here. So everyone's wondering what I'm even talking about. I'm talking to Kira Maxim about her ball selection. That worked great on lane 17, but on 18, not so much. So, are you going to try it again over there on 18? Okay, probably. Okay.
Alyssa Ballard just chimed in. Alyssa, we miss you at the SYC. Hope your college experience is going great. Rachel Moore has figured out this pair, though.
Yeah.
She's gone strike, spare, turkey. No problem. I like Tally Scott's jersey, Ken. It might be an older design because I see the logo infusion.
Yeah, it's a logo infusion. Yeah.
But I love it. It's like a night sky kind of jersey. That's
yeah,
cool.
it's one of the older SYC designs.
Ah, I like it. Is that a Wichita night sky? Maybe yeah.
It might be.
That's cool. I like that jersey.
Yeah.
I don't remember it. Maybe we need to bring a little night sky back.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole. So whatever we did prior to 2020, so 17, 18, and 19, anything we did is archived right now.
Yeah. Waiting for a moment to come back out.
Maybe we need like a retro or something.
That'd be
right?
fun.
Like a retro section, and then put all the old designs out.
Retro is very in.
Because when we first started that, we originally were putting the event names on the shirts.
Yeah.
And then we had a couple situations where, like, we had a kind of a guitar theme one for the Music City for Nashville, and then customers assumed that we were going to put the name of their event on that shirt, and I was like, well, no, it's in the picture, it's Music City, and that's what it's going to say.
Well, and those were the years too. We were changing the logo. So we
That's
had
correct, too.
Like if you look at some of the older banners,
yes,
they have different logos, but then we decided to stop doing that because that made no sense. Like the SYC needed to be
well, in year one
logo.
It was okay. You had 2 events, and then it went to 4, and when you get, and then 6, and then all of a sudden it's like we need a logo every month.
Yeah, exactly. So Tina Klein is in. Hello, Tina. We're missing you this weekend, too. I heard Tina is working hard this weekend. That's what I heard. Yeah. Got Miss Macy Proctor on lane 16. Let's see if I can find out where some of these bowlers are. The first few bios I pulled up did not, people had not filled out their bios, but Emily Merton did.
Okay.
Emily's from Omaha, Nebraska. Home Bowling Center, Maplewood Lanes. This is great. We asked her, what do you enjoy most about bowling? She loves getting to see kids grow in the sport and finding passion in it. And she loves getting to push herself, and she never stops learning. She got her first career win up in South Dakota in their Tournament of Champions, and she wants to give a shout out to her dad, who's working back at home to support her bowling. So
that's awesome.
Shout out to Dad. Emily is part of our evolution program too, and that's our free monthly program. Anyone can join, and she always submits her monthly assignments. And
okay. How many members are there now?
We're up to over 200 members.
That's great.
Yeah, and anyone can join, and you'll learn something every month. We send out a monthly email that they get on the first of the month, and it's themed. So this month, they all learned about college bowling. Next month, we have a little Halloween theme going on. So
okay.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, you got the holidays coming up and everything, so.
Yeah.
I see you smiling, so you got you got some plans.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's fun. Holidays make it easy, right?
Yeah, sure.
Celicia Odin with a nice spare. So, Kenny, we like to hear our fans at home like to hear what's going on with I Am Bowling. What's next? Because you have the holidays coming up too, so that's a big time for jerseys.
It is, and we're actually making a very large investment. We're switching a lot of our equipment out, so it's time, and then we're upgrading everything, and we are looking at that Christmas period of time, like Black Friday and afterwards, because of our 3 to 4 week turnaround time. We're not always the busiest in December. Because people, because customers can't get their products before Christmas.
Right.
But the equipment that we're investing in is in some ways is going to make us a lot more efficient and possibly would speed us up where we might have a special during that period of time.
Oh, great.
We're looking at it. We're looking at the logistics of it, of maybe getting 4 weeks down to 2 weeks just for that period of time, just to allow more people to order stuff for the holidays.
That's
So,
great.
so that in itself is a huge project because we have a lot of stuff to move around. We're actually going to reorganize our entire operation
Wow.
physically, like
Yeah.
the flow of the operation. And so I'm working with my landlord because I got a bunch of electrical that I need to add, and working with my equipment vendor, to bring in the new equipment. So that's a full plate.
Sounds like it.
It's one of those things that traveling does get in the way of that, when
Yeah.
you're trying to
Sure.
do stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but hopefully, we should be by the end of October. We should have all the equipment in place, and fully upgrade our operation. So,
That's awesome.
it's going to potentially 2 to 3 times our current capacity.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so,
great. So for people that are watching that may be looking into, hey, the holidays are coming up, I want to order for friends and family, where can they go to purchase a jersey?
Yeah, so iambowling.com is our website, and we're also working on. Although a lot of people have told us it's a lot easier to find things on IM Bowling than it was on Logo Infusion,
Yeah.
we still think that we can make it easier.
Nice.
So we're kind of moving some stuff around, and now that we're ending the second year of the brand, it's time to kind of freshen up the website a little bit. So we're going to be looking at changing some colors and moving some stuff around.
That's great.
For us, the filtering, like finding designs, is with Logo Infusion, it was a little bit different. We put up designs, and we didn't necessarily assign every ball brand to them. That we kind of, we would choose a brand for a design. That's something that we thought, maybe this design fits into this genre.
Sure. Yeah.
And then with I Am Bowling, we decided to just, because ultimately, no matter what design it is, someone says, "Hey, I really like that blank design, but I would like that design with Storm on it."
Right.
Yeah. Let's say, and so we now, everything is every design is all the ball brands,
Yeah.
and
You can mix and match, or not mix and match.
so,
yeah.
we lost it. On Logo Infusion, we had a kind of it was kind of a filtering system, and that we would say, hey, you can search for different colors, let's say,
Sure.
and so you would go in there, and then the designs would be, so all designs that have blue in them would be in a category.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of go back to do that. The question is do we just take the main design, the I Am Bowling design, and put that in there? Or do we put all of the brands in there?
Yeah.
Because it can get cluttered really quick too,
Absolutely.
So, so we might have to make maybe a disclosure on all the products saying, this design's also available in other brands,
I like it.
But trying to make things simpler. The brand is definitely growing. We're we're offering hoodies at this event.
Yeah.
That we're going to get all that online. Going to be working on all the SYC products, getting all that online, and we're going to be adding long sleeve tees, moisture wicking tees.
Nice. That's great.
And just generally speaking, just working on new products. That's kind of where we're at. So really ramping up for the holiday, seasons, and it's winter time's around the corner here, so outerwear and hoodies
jackets.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's something we've kind of missed for a couple of years, so we're going to start covering all that. So
I like it.
So Miss Shannon Pluhowski is just waiting for me to make that one test product so she can start changing over all our T-shirts to offer all that stuff. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so we've been bringing in inventory and for all the different products and everything.
Yeah, and Shannon is your marketing director, right?
That's correct.
Yes. So you hired her on, and she's been great. She's come to a couple SYCs.
Yep. Yeah, she'll be at the next one. I think her daughter is bowling,
Oh, great.
so she's
Autumn's
coming.
quite
Yeah,
the little sporty kid.
yeah, she's and then the Orlando event. She's actually going to work with Kathy.
That's great.
So
yeah.
my son and I are taking a boys golf trip
Nice.
that weekend. So
Nice. Yeah, because you do multitask and you manage your family and your business.
Well, and my son's a senior now, so this is I'm counting the months down to empty nesting here.
Yeah.
So if I have the opportunity to take a trip with him, I'm gonna do that. So
Love
he's
it.
trying to figure out where he wants to go to school, and so a lot going on.
Yeah, so as we look at the bowling, we're coming down into the 10th frame. We see Eliana Ochino on lane 15. Great little bowler from New York. And she has grinded her way through this game.
Yep.
She had one missed spare, but she can go out for 234. She's only been bowling a couple years, and
really?
she's really improved a lot.
I see her at most of the SYCs.
Yeah.
At least this year, I've seen her at several of them.
Yeah, and she shot 300 in high school this year.
Oh wow!
So she just loves it, and
That's
she's
great.
one of those kids that just is always practicing, always bowling, always trying to get better, always learning. She works with Jason Sterner and some of the bowlers out there. So
234.
very nice game.
Yeah.
All right. And we see Maddie Phillips finishing out her game on 16 too. Another super spare shooter. It's kind of, in the field that's this stacked, spares are important.
Yep. Absolutely.
I see Tori Merton in the chat. Hello, Tori. Thanks for spending the weekend with us. She says that she loves taking trips with the kids, and she thinks it's hard when they're leaving the nest. Emily's going to be leaving pretty soon too, so
Yeah.
I think a lot of parents can feel the pain that you're experiencing.
Yeah.
It is different.
Well, yeah, because we spent 2 decades raising and
Yeah.
do all this stuff, and so it's kind of a double-edged sword. Really proud that they're going to college and starting their lives, but at the same time they've been a big part of our daily life.
I was talking to Billy Murphy about that earlier. He was in here. We were talking a little bit about the college recruitment and some of that stuff, and it's such a balance. You want your kids to be happy and safe and love school and not miss you. But emotionally, you want them to miss you. You're
Sure.
their parents.
Sure.
So it's such a hard balance that first couple years when they're trying to figure out their life, and you want them to let go, but you don't want them to let go. And yeah.
Well, this morning, Kathy and I were divvying up the chores. we were negotiating who's taking out the trash and who's going to do the dishes.
Nice.
And I think she got the better end of the deal again. So I said I preferred the dishes, and she's like, I'll gladly take the trash out once a week. And I was like, wait a second, I'll be doing dishes every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, anyways, I don't
That's
know.
funny.
But yeah, well, my son won't be listening to this. He's not a bowler, so there will be little evidence of to him. But he took the ACT today.
Oh,
And so Kathy got the notification he was walking out the front door.
Yeah.
And as there's video in the front yard, and she noticed that the trash cans had not been taken out. So I was like, yeah. I said, eventually there will be nobody to take them out except us, And then it turned into a discussion. She goes, okay, so who's doing that?
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, no, it's definitely a transition. Something you don't think about, it just kind of happens.
All right, Kira Maxim.
Yeah,
Grabs out with
198.
a 198.
You can see the lanes are definitely breaking down.
Yes, there's definitely some transition happening.
Kira has a little bit more of a power ball, and her ball is definitely reacting early. What's the volume on this? Oh, it's a lower volume.
Yeah.
24.9. 42. That makes sense because there's pretty good friction in this house anyway. So
Yeah, there's some friction, but just don't get it to that OB, the
Yeah,
gutter OB,
right.
the topography gutter.
right.
So, Kenny, we're going to wrap up this game, but I see our next guest who is he's watching the lanes as they're transitioning. Francois Lavoie will be
Yep.
jumping back in the booth. He's been hanging out with us this weekend. There's Brooke here.
He knows a few things about bowling.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
I thought he did great in this. Were you able to listen to the seminar a little bit
I was.
yesterday? I thought he did awesome.
He did. He was posed. Some very tough questions were posed to him.
My favorite
If
was...
you weren't bowling, what would you do? I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Right. But my favorite, which was so eloquently asked by one of our U12 bowlers, how did you learn to be a pro?
Oh, wow.
That was the question.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think that's such a great question.
Yeah.
Nice spirit,
Inquiring minds want to know, right?
Yeah. And his dad told me, I talked to his dad after, and he said, yeah, it told me that he was listening, because it wasn't like the beginning question. Like, it was midway through, and
Right.
so he was listening the whole way. So Brooke, with that spare, is in the 2 teens. She can get to 222 here, Miss
Yep.
Brooke. So I think this DJ is, I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is Carlos, who just was bowling at the Las Vegas Open. Carlos, is that
222.
you? Is that what Brooke went out
Yeah.
for? So Carlos, if it's you, hello. We just met him at the TAT.
Okay.
So thanks for hanging out with us and watching some of the youth bowlers compete.
Rachel Moore's got a good game going.
Yes, she does. Yeah. I think she really wanted that one to go,
Yeah.
but
Still a possible 220,
Yeah.
225.
and Emily, who, like we said, this is her first long format tournament back after shoulder surgery. So she's been going to PT, she's been rehabbing everything, and today is really
Oh.
the test, because this is the first time she'll bowl 10 games in a day.
Oh, okay.
So, and a 162, I think she'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Rachel's going to make a little ball change here, maybe. Maybe not. Try something different in the 10th frame. I don't know. I wouldn't try anything. She's got it figured out. But like you said, the lanes might be changing a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I think the kids that can get in will ultimately be okay, I think.
Good shot. Rachel didn't try anything different.
No.
She's like, I got this.
Yep.
225, and she's
225.
moving on. So, Kenny, thank you
Yeah,
again
thanks for having me.
joining us. And thank you for everything that you and Kathy do for the SYCs. We're thankful that you're part of the SYC family.
Yeah, we're glad to be a part of it.
All right, we will
Okay.
be right back with some more bowling for Game 4, and Francois Lavoie will be joining us in the booth. All right, welcome back, everyone. As promised, Francois Lavoie is joining us in the booth. Frankie, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about some youth bowlers. Now, we're still waiting on the bowlers from 15 and 16 to join us, so we'll just showcase 17 and 18 for the time being. And let's see who we've got. So we've got Kaylin Walmeyer, Carly Zucklin, Sydney Bone, Brianna Warren, Madeline Warner, and Chloe Wood. Those are the bowlers that we'll be watching on 17 and 18. And right now you're watching Miss Sydney Bone stepping up on lane 18. And I believe that is Chloe Wood up on lane 17. That spare ball looked like it hooked there on her.
It did, yeah.
Man, tough break, Chloe. Sydney Bone is, of course, the daughter of Leslie and Parker Bone. And it's weird because Sydney is the only Bone bowling this tournament. Brandon is now at Mount Mercy, and Justin has moved on to the adult ranks.
Yep.
So it's kind of crazy. A few years ago, there were 3 of them. Justin and Brandon are probably going to come join the PBA Tour soon, I'm sure.
Probably. It wouldn't surprise me. They're both pretty talented.
Absolutely. It's a great family. They just ran their annual Parker Bone Scholarship Tournament last weekend in New Jersey, which is a great event if you're on the East Coast to look into for your youth bowler. They give out a lot of scholarship funds. And it's pretty great. Lane 18, we just watched Miss Brianna Warner throw a shot, and you're going to see Miss Carly. You're going to see if they filled out their bio so we can say where they're from. Carly's from Highland, Indiana. Her favorite pro bowler is Julia Bond. And she loves meeting new friends and being able to travel the country for tournaments, and she likes to constantly work on her game and learn new skills. And she likes math and science. Those are her 2 favorite subjects in school. We just watched a girls pair, and they finished up, and we think there's a little bit of transition happening.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, I think so. And looking at the pattern, that's the 42-foot pattern. There's only 24 mils of oil. So in today's patterns, that's, I wouldn't say low, but it's on the lower side.
Sure.
So you're going to start seeing the lanes break down a little bit, and people are going to be able to, especially those with a higher rev rate, are going to be able to use the track and kind of bump their ball off of that, be able to shape it a little bit more.
I think that's a fair observation. I think that's what we're seeing. Now, sometimes the ladies have a little lower rev rate, so bumping it is a little harder. So that's when they kind of get stuck in that transition, which is what I think we're experiencing right now.
Yeah, I think those ladies that are able to move their feet left a little bit further and maybe ball down to something that'll respond a little quicker to friction, they're probably going to be able to separate themselves from the rest a little bit here. 2 games left. There's plenty of time for some movement in the standings.
Absolutely. So our bowlers from 15 and 16 have arrived. We have Miss Tori Franklin, Brianna Joseph, Kyra Durham, Bailey Sechrist, Riley Emerson, and Addison Harvey. Those are the bowlers that you will see. And as always, anyone watching in the chat, this is your opportunity to ask Francois Lavoie any question that you may want to ask him. I'll put you on the spot. Turn it into a little mini Q&A. Did such a great job with our youth
Yeah.
bowler Q&A.
I love it.
Now we'll open it up to everyone else.
Yeah, let's keep it going. Do we have anything yet? I don't think so.
No, not yet. Yeah.
Somebody asking about scores. Are there scores posted anywhere?
Yeah, so our official scoring system of the SYC is Bull Metrics, and Ted Fossum at Bull Metrics, he takes care of us with great, kind of nearly live scoring, because we have some Wichita State bowlers this weekend that go pair to pair after the game is completed, and they'll update all the scores, so you can go and check out the standings on bullmetrics.com. There's an SYC Kansas area that you can click on, and you'll want to click on medium pattern to see specifically the bowlers that are competing right now, and then you can also check out the overall standings. You can also see who won the medals from the short pattern. All right, here we go. Goodman wants to know, have you thrown the Supernova yet?
I have not. I was out of the country for a little while, and I just recently got back, and I saw that it had arrived, so I'll probably drill it early next week.
Okay.
From what I've seen, though, I've talked to a few other people, and I've seen a few videos already. It looks like it's pretty strong.
All right.
I'm expecting that ball to be a hook monster, be able to handle a lot of oil. I'm personally probably going to drill it a little bit weaker than I normally would drill. My normal layout would probably be about 5 inches, maybe 4 3/4. So I might go a little bit weaker than that, 5 1/4, 5 1/2 maybe, just because I'm expecting it to be so strong. I don't want it to be too strong up front and not store any energy down lane.
I like it. I like this question too. Do you have a favorite PBA tournament to bowl, or which one's the most fun for you to bowl in?
It's a good question. The majors in general are always a lot more fun. The U.S. Open, obviously, I have some good memories in that tournament. I've had some good experiences. I usually fare pretty well. The harder the patterns, typically, the better I do compared to the field. So I'm quite fond of the U.S. Open. Plus, I like to see everyone else get mad. Not that I don't myself, but
Sure.
it's also fun to see everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're all in it together, so you're getting mad, but everyone else is getting mad too, and you just need to outlast the most angry person. Right?
Exactly.
I'm looking up bios too. You just saw Bailey Sechrist bowl on lane 16. I love her outfit today. It's so bright and cheerful. I told her, I'm like, make me a... She's the pink and green. She has like a green skirt on. See Miss Tori Franklin. Tori is bowling here this weekend, but her parents are actually competing in a SASBA tournament back in Texas. So she has a family friend coaching her this weekend. But it's pretty fun. Both her and her parents are competing this weekend.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So shout out to Jeannie and Tony. She also has her puppy on her jersey, which I appreciate. I like how individualized everything is. Like even Riley Emerson, she's like blinged out her name on her jersey.
Yeah, yep.
Sydney Bone. Aw, man, a 7-10 on a turkey. That's brutal. Not nice.
No.
Now, when you were covering your lane talk scores earlier today, you feel Sydney's pain.
I do. I do feel Sydney's pain. And if I was trying to make this, but I think she will. She's going for the 7-pin. I think I don't know if there's a lot of data to back this up, but I think that if you're trying to bounce pins out of the back, I think going away from the ball return is the safe play. Or I think it works a little bit better that way. So if you're on the left lane, try to bounce the 7 pin into the 10, and if you're on the right lane, try to bounce the 10 pin into the 7 pin.
There you go. There's your tip of the tournament. Not sure where our A bowler went. Our A bowler is. Oh, it's Tori. Oh, it looks like they've just gotten behind on 15 and 16. Might be letting one side try to catch up. Yeah, there's some, like, I don't know what I'd do if I was bowling right now. I think I'd be as stuck as these girls, because I see some bowlers trying to, like, if they're playing more straight up, which is how Caitlin has been throwing it early. Like, she was further to the right, and her ball just kept hooking. And now she took a step left, and she washed out.
Yeah.
So she's shaking her head. I feel that pain too. I definitely feel it.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there, and it's always easier to tell from the back than it is while you're bowling.
Right. But she's not throwing the ball bad at all. She's just stuck in this over-under situation.
Yeah, I can think of a lot of different times where that's happened to me. You feel like you've thrown the shots you wanted all game. You've executed well. You just could never figure out that pair, or you were lost in general. You're using maybe 2-3 different balls in the same game, and feel like you bowled a good game, and you look up and it adds up to 167 or something.
And you're like, really?
Yeah, no fun. I think right now, what you're seeing, especially with the girls, and we talked about it a little bit before, because everybody crosses on the same pairs.
Yeah.
You've got younger bowlers, you've got more experienced bowlers, guys, girls,
Urethane,
high rev rate, low rev rate, urethane, reactive. There's just been people that have kind of bowled all over the place, so there's not necessarily a defined spot for everybody to play. You just kind of pick your spot and try to make as good a shots as you can. You're seeing people play straighter, like you said. You're seeing people hook it a little more.
Yeah.
And I think now that we're getting into the last 2 games of the block, those people that are hooking it a little more are probably going to see their scores go up. And it's going to be a little trickier for those people who are still trying to go straight.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. Kyra Durham, the last shot she threw on 15, she's going to step on ball lane 16. She's using a lot of surface. And I haven't seen a lot of surface yet today, but she is playing a kind of hold spot. She's just keeping it close to the pocket, and it's working. Well, it worked last frame. I shouldn't say it's working, but it struck.
It struck last frame.
And I'm probably jinxing her, but I just saw her throw it. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of surface. I just haven't seen that. Yeah, see, she's just kind of trapping it in there.
Yeah.
Not giving it away either way, and now she's got a double.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that decision.
Yeah, the ball's just setting up real early, and like you said, she's got that hold from all the other balls pushing oil down the lane, and her ball setting up early is allowing her to play that hold further down the lane. Just setting up, like you said, and controlling the pocket at least.
So Kaylin, who we just said she's stuck, right? She just left that washout where she had moved left. She tried to move back to the right, and she 4-9'd. Now I really feel Kaylin's pain.
Yeah.
Kaylin, she's trying. Like, she's trying to make these moves and make the right call. She's been sparing. She's really close, too. I like the idea of moving a little back to the right for her.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And that could be one of the hardest spots to be in, when you're really close, but your shots don't do what you want them to.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, of course, thanks, pins, for leaving me a 4-9. It could have been the 4-pin. Just the 4-pin alone.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her move to a different part of the lane for the second half of the game.
Just try something different. Now, Frankie, would we ever see a bright outfit like Bailey's outfit on you? I think you have a more subdued style.
Definitely, yeah. I'm more of a neutral color kind of person.
Yeah. It's all right. I like Bailey's style. I like how everyone gets their own personal style in bowling now, too.
Yeah. Yeah, the different jersey companies have definitely helped with that. The way you can customize everything.
Yeah. Tough break by Chloe Wood. That's that same spare ball that hooked in the first frame. Her spare ball's hooking on her.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced that in a tournament?
On the shorter patterns, yeah,
Yeah.
it can hook.
It's
Even though
frustrating.
I throw a pitch black at spares, and so it does have a tendency to hook on the shorter patterns. So I have to adjust my spare game a little bit.
Curly's gonna go for the spare. Close. All right, here's Kaylin.
Different ball.
Okay. All right, I like that she's trying to change things too. She's not just
Absolutely.
staying in one part of the lane. She's really working on trying to change it. Stayed to the right.
Yeah.
Left something to pick up.
Looks like she's right in that zone where she's fighting the early hook, and and if she gets through that early hook, she's got the hang down lane. That's a tough place to be in.
As Sydney gets a strike. She's getting on it a little more than she was the last time I saw her bowl. Seems like she's working on her game. Nice spare by Kaylin. Ashton Woods just popped in. Hello, Ashton. Ashton's bowled some SYCs. She's a member of Junior Team USA. I forgot to get my stat on Junior Team USA bowlers. I'll get it for tomorrow. Maybe we'll make that announcement in the morning. I do know we have 27 different states represented.
Wow.
And we have over 30 first-time SYC bowlers competing this weekend.
That's really good.
Yeah.
"27 states, that's a lot. That's a good stat.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
And all different ways to get to the SYC, like driving or flying. Nice shot by Miss Carly. So looking across the boards, I'm not seeing a lot of striking. So I think every pair is experiencing this transitional fun on the medium pattern. Sydney gets a double. Good job, Sydney. I can't believe we haven't got more questions for you, Francois.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I don't know. You must be like intimidated. Don't be intimidated, Francois. Didn't you in the pandemic? Didn't you do a couple of like live streams where you did like happy hours where you just were answering questions?
Yeah. I think that's what we called it. Happy hour with Chris and Frankie.
Yeah.
With my buddy Chris Sloan. We were all. This was during the initial lockdown.
When no one could do anything.
Yeah, bowling centers were closed. Nobody was going to work, or at least everybody was working from home. And Chris and I, we've been traveling together for a couple of years. We're good friends. We like to have a cocktail every now and then. So we mix up a different cocktail every episode and have a guest on and just kind of roast each other. We wanted to. The goal of it was to bring our regular talks that we would normally have with other bowlers to the general public, to the mainstream media, I guess. 'Cause a lot of times people have these shows and they have these serious bowling questions that they ask, and we wanted it to be a little bit more laid back and
Fun.
yeah, a little bit more fun and just natural, kind of how we would talk to each other if we saw each other in person, off the lanes at a tournament. I actually had somebody ask me why we stopped, and I said, "Well, bowling centers reopened, and we kind of had to get back to work."
Go back to
I said,
normal life.
maybe one day we'll bring it back.
Yeah, but I like that because, like you said, it was more open, and you guys were answering questions. And
Mm-hmm.
I think you're pretty laid back, and you'll answer any question that people throw at you.
Yeah, definitely. Don't let my resting face fool you. I'm pretty approachable.
So I officially feel Caitlin's pain. Caitlin tried another ball change because I think she saw the ball hook again on lane 18.
Mm-hmm.
Made another change and left a split. And I'm like, she cannot catch a break right now. And I think she's in the part of the game where you've made so many changes that you're like, okay, I have 2 frames left.
Yeah.
What do I do? Just get off this pair, right?
Yeah.
Salvage it.
Just try to get 2 marks and put that game behind you.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the best thing to do.
Uh-oh, Del Ballard just popped in to chat.
Oh boy.
That's always good. Del, welcome. Del, were your ears burning earlier when we were talking about Frankie's spare percentages? And I said, you mean you missed a couple spares? Del will get on you.
Del would.
He said, yeah, Del would totally be on me. Del said he wasn't watching us. What else were you doing today, Del? Nice turkey by Sydney Bone. She's going to finish this game off super strong. I should look up some scores before we get too far into this game. Let me see let's see. I'll go to the U18 girls because that's mostly what we're looking at here. So U18 girls right now. So Rachel Moore was leading going into this game. She's gone 217, 203, 225. And Sydney was in 5th. She was plus 34. She's coming off of a 231, 224 game. She had a 179 first game, so this would be huge for her to keep moving closer into the top 3 medalists.
Mm-hmm.
Carly Zucklin has had a very up and down day, so she had a good game in game 2, but it looks like 178 and 183 games 1 and 3, which 183 on this is still good. I would take a 180 happily. Let's see what's leading the U18 boys on medium. U18 boys on medium, Ethan Caruso is leading currently. He is plus 105.
Pretty good start.
Charlie Hunter and Anthony Hornick. U15 girls, Miss Bella Castillo is plus 33 and leading. Mateo Quintero is leading in the U15 boys division. And in our U12 mixed division, we have Trevor Mason heading up the competition. Dell acts like he had something to do that was important. Parents' weekend at Vanderbilt. That's a really nice excuse. I'm just kidding. Tell Alyssa hi. All right, so Brianna Warren is starting off the 10th frame for us on lane 18. I wonder what Game 5 is going to be like. Do you think the scores are going to come back up in Game 5? Or do you think they're going to stay hard?
I think I think it'll depend on which category you're watching.
Yeah.
I think the U18 boys are probably going to see some high scores, just because of what I said earlier, that they have a more of a tendency to move left and open up the lane a little bit. And I think right now that's looking like the best thing to do. The As far as the girls that have the higher rev rates, I think are probably going to see some good scores. So, two-handed girls or girls that get on the ball a little bit more, if they're able to open up the lane, I think that's really key right now. Those kids and those kids that are playing a little bit straighter right now, you're seeing them all struggle. They're fighting hook in the front part of the lane, and they're fighting the topography of the lane on the right side, close to the gutter here at North Rock. The gutter's a little tricky, so you get the ball going there in the wrong way with the wrong speed. It's pretty tricky, and then a lot of times you end up blaming yourself for throwing a bad shot when really you should be blaming the lane.
Yes. We were talking about that topography the last game because a couple of shots, kids just got them to the right, and they were the U18 boys, and they were just in the gutter. Like, they were gone.
Yeah, some of these pairs are really tricky here at North Rock. It's funny, you were reading the scores, and scoring pace is a big thing in tournament play. You could put down the same pattern that's 3.8 to 1. Not overly difficult. You could put down the same pattern at a house where maybe the lanes are a little bit more crowned, and you'll see some more free hook on the gutter, and the scores will be a lot higher than they are now. So that's one thing that I always try to look for when I'm competing. I try to look for scoring pace and figure out if I need to try to shoot 220 or if 200 is a good score. Just kind of looking at the field, and then the next thing I do is I try to see if I'm struggling, especially, I try to go find the leaders and see what they're doing, and then I'll try to match that. I'll try to get that as close as possible with my skill set and with my game. Try to get as close as possible to what they're doing, because if they're leading, chances are, especially at a tour event, everybody's very good. Everybody can do all sorts of different tricks, so the leaders are probably doing it right.
I think that's really important what you talked about, like seeing what the score pace is, and we talk about that a lot because even if you don't watch the scores, like you don't pull up bowl metrics, like you don't want to know where you are in the standings, just look around because you're bowling in your own division and look at the scores. Are people bowling 220s? Or are people just bowling 180?
Yeah. And I think taking a step back and making sure you're looking at the standings, and maybe you're not specifically looking for your name to compare yourself to others while you're competing, because that can hurt some people. But it's easy sometimes to look around and you see a 220 to your left and a 230 to your right. Well, those might be the same people that the game before shot 160 and 170. So you got to kind of average it out and see overall what's the scoring pace looking like.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you can kind of adapt your strategy. A lot of times just hitting the pocket and making spares can be pretty good. It can keep you in it.
Yeah. But 100% agree with that. So Sydney Bone, she's on a 4-bagger. She's going into the 10th. Let's see what she can do here. And as we said, she was in the...
Was that 106 in the 5th? So 256 possible?
Yep. And there's the first one. And a little fist bump. Joe has a question. Why do some of the U15 girls have 3 games and others don't? We have live scorers that are walking through, and sometimes what'll happen in between games is someone will move, and we might miss that score sheet, but there's no concern because the next time they go through, they'll get both of the games, or someone will catch it and bring the score sheet into scoring office, so if there's a couple games missing, we'll catch it. Little
Another
human
strike.
error every once in a while.
Another strike for Sydney. That Bone family tends to do really well when the cameras are on them.
I'm telling you, right? I was really rooting for Sydney to win junior gold too, because what a week that would have been,
That would
right?
have been crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole family wins something.
Yeah. But the one cool thing, and I always try to mention this whenever we're talking to the kids or about the kids, is just having the name Bone on the back of their shirt doesn't guarantee success.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they've worked really, really hard to get to where they are, and you know they choose to listen to their parents too, because for a while Parker would tell us like, yeah, I tell them what to do, but they don't always listen. Anyone
Yeah.
with kids knows, like, sometimes they're doing their own thing. So,
Definitely.
all right.
Over here, that was a perfect example. Sydney shot 256 on the same pair as some of the other girls were struggling,
Yeah.
and that was just due to the fact that they played a completely different line. Sydney was a little bit further left, and with her release and her ball reaction, she was able to just kind of feed the ball to the track, and they would just face up, and she had hold left of her, and she had hook to her right. That's always what you're looking for. That's optimal conditions, and when you see that as a bowler, your swing tends to free up, you're a lot looser, and usually big scores follow. The other side of that is when you've got hook left of you or hook early, and you've got hang to the right, and then you tense up, and no matter what you try, it seems like you can't get out of that, and that's what we saw with a couple of the other girls there.
Yeah.
So just another thing we were talking about, looking for the leaders, looking for who's bowling well. Sydney was playing the right part of the lane. She was matched up with her ball, her release, her speed, everything was in sync. And then you had some other girls that weren't doing the same thing, and they made life a little harder on themselves.
100%. Dell is here to humble you because he says that you have that every week. And I think it's the over-under. I think he's calling you out. Dell, don't you have a parents' weekend activity to go to? Isn't there something to go do?
Yeah, pay attention in class, Dell.
We do want to give a shout out to Carolyn and Dell Ballard, though, because their Ballard versus the Big C event is happening next week, and BBBC is the chosen charity of the SYC. $10 of every entry this week goes back to Ballard versus the Big C, and it's a great charity. It's if you're looking for a charity to give to throughout the year, you know that if you give the money to BBBC, it's going to help people today that need assistance as they're fighting cancer.
Absolutely. They work hard with that. He's saying hold left, hook right. So he was actually being nice.
Oh, what?
He was being nice to me. And see,
Dell was being nice to you? We don't even know that.
we just assumed the opposite.
All right, so it looks like we're going to have some U12 boys joining us on 17 and 18 this game. 15 and 16 is finishing up. So 17 and 18, our new bowlers are Blake Glines, Joseph Parkins, Trevor Mason, Miles Teller, and Keaton Kelso. Now, Francois, I don't want to trap you in the booth because this is the point when a game changes, and this is when people get stuck for 2 games. So if you have something else you need to go do, or you need to go talk to families.
No, I think I'm all right. I've spent a lot of time walking around.
All right.
If you don't have anybody else that's
You're
planning
on.
on coming in, I can stay. I can stay for
Okay.
the next game.
All right, so this is the final game that we're entering. Dell's claiming he's a nice guy. I don't know about that, Dell. I'm just kidding. Dell is a nice guy.
Yeah, I have to say, I've mostly had good experiences with Dell.
All right, so let me see. Usually the U12 boys their parents are still filling out things for them, so I get a lot of bios. Let's go look. Yeah. And I'm proved wrong. I do know Trevor Mason picked up his first SYC title in Idaho last month. He is from Maybank, Texas. Dell, I need your help on this one. Pronunciation, please. His home bowling center is JB's Allen Bowl. His favorite bowling achievement is winning his first SYC title in Idaho last month. And what's cool, when you win your first SYC title, the next SYC you show up, you actually get to see your banner.
Yeah.
And so seeing your banner hung is pretty exciting for the youth players. He is a big Pokemon fan, and he has a huge collection of Pokemon cards. And he also does gymnastics in his free time. And he wants to say hi to his grandpa in Arkansas. Trevor usually does a lot of like fist bumps, and he gets excited on the lane too.
Good. We love to see that.
Yeah.
Much like myself.
Yeah. If I see you do a fist bump, although you do some little fist bumps every once in a while.
Yeah, I keep it subdued.
All right, Miles Teller is from Wichita, Kansas. He bowls here at North Rock Lanes. Favorite pro bowler, Jason Belmonte. And he loves playing golf and doing math. And he just started playing the trumpet. Del Torre's not done yet. Unless she was she the A bowler? Let me look. Tori shot.
I think she was.
Okay, she shot 177 for the Tori Franklin fans watching. Good shot by Caden.
Caden was the one with a couple of good questions yesterday, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
He actually asked my favorite question. How did you learn to be a pro?
Yeah. That was good.
It's such a like.
It was deep.
Right? And it was like out of the cutest little voice. So.
How'd you learn to be a pro?
And you came up with a very good answer. I'm like, that was a one. There were some questions that really were like we were talking about earlier. Kenny Keegan was in the booth and he said, yeah, asking you, what would you have done if you weren't a pro? And then how did you learn to be a pro?
Yeah.
They were on you.
Yeah. I just told him I watched Del Ballard.
Yeah. And of course, how did I miss Miles? Did I say Miles was on this pair? Yeah, I don't think so. Am I missing? Oh, here it is. Wait, there's another bowler. Miles Gordon, our gold medalist from round one. He bowled amazing in round one. He shot, let me pull up his scores. 258, 298, 199, 203, and then he ended with a unfortunate 157. But
he had enough of a lead.
Yeah. For all we know, he might have been trying something out the last game.
Maybe.
Miles is a great bowler. He's bowled a couple SYCs, and he bowls a lot of tournaments back east. He's from Ohio. Riley is finishing out her game strong over here on 16. She had a very rough start, but she's saving it with a 5-bagger.
It's going to be a big save, yeah, for 180.
Yeah.
182.
it's 9-181. That's a huge save right there by Riley. Nice job.
When did you start bowling, Blair? Were you bowling at 12?
I was. So I started bowling like most kids. My parents got me into the youth leagues at 5, but I did not take it seriously until really college was when I really kind of started caring. But I loved bowling, and I think at some point, and I talk to kids a lot about this, right? Like I played tennis too in high school.
Yeah.
And so for me, tennis was where it was at, and I loved tennis. And I started playing that later. But at some point, it kind of clicked that I loved bowling more than tennis, and I liked tennis. And you kind of have to go through all of the steps in all the youth sports stuff to figure out what you really like, and then you'll figure it out. And it was funny because Billy Murphy was in here earlier, and we were talking about how when you're 12 or 13, you think you know what you want, but you really have no idea.
Yeah.
And so just being okay with things changing, I think, is really important when you're a kid. And that really was what happened for me, because I thought I was going to go play tennis in college. And I did bowl in college at Ohio State, but I really was there for college, not so much bowling. And I never really wanted to, I didn't have aspirations to compete on the tour ever. Like, I'm sure when I was little that I said at some point I wanted to be a pro bowler or something, but that went away very quickly. I always just kind of wanted to work in bowling. So I think what's cool in our sport is there are spots for everybody, right? There are spots if you grow up bowling youth tournaments and you go through college bowling and you want to go out and compete on the tour, there's a spot for you.
Yep.
And you can go and do it, and it's hard. You can also go through college and find a place to work in bowling. And there's more and more opportunities that open every day. And I think with as big as youth bowling is getting, and as big as college bowling is getting, all the schools that are starting, there's so many schools, and I think there's just going to be more and more opportunities that open in the sport because more kids are going to want to stay in it and work in it. So the kids are changing the game more than they even know, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Just look at a weekend like this, and all the SYCs, for the most part, they sell out super quickly, right?
Oh, yeah.
Within
totally.
minutes, I think?
Yeah. This one sold out in like a minute and a half.
Wow.
But we do get spoiled in the U.S. I know you grew up in Canada. We get spoiled a little bit with, especially in what area you live in, because there's not, where I grew up in Ohio, and there's so many opportunities, even back when I was growing up, but now there's high school bowling. There are tournament series for the kids to bowl in. They can easily travel to different states. It's a 2-hour drive each way. It's a little more challenging in other parts of the country because some parts don't have high school bowling.
Yeah.
But then they have other things that the Midwest might not have, because when you don't have high school bowling, you can have more tournaments because high school bowling takes up so much of that time. So I think it's all about just embracing whatever opportunity that you might have. Look at Joseph. He was our silver medalist today. Or was it okay?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
This is the U12 division?
U12.
Yeah, very good.
Now, you were competing. When did you join Team Canada? How old were you?
First time was in 2009. I would have been 16.
16?
Yeah. Well, we qualified in 2009 for 2010's team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you competing at a high level at this age? This little age here?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a high level. It was a high level for what we had back home.
Sure.
It was
yeah.
So I think I was in a youth league. I started really young. My parents tell me as soon as I could walk, I started bowling. My dad was the bowler. My mom wasn't a bowler, but my dad bowled, and he would bring me with him to the bowling center when he had to bowl leagues, and eventually, I guess they tell these stories where I would always play with the house balls on the racks. So
Oh yeah.
they'd be bowling, and I'd grab a ball and set it on the ground, and grab another ball, set it on the ground, and rearrange them. And so eventually they said, everyone was, he's gonna hurt himself doing that. So they turned a lane on next to the league, and that's kind of how it
Let you
started.
bowl.
And I don't know what's the age requirement to join a youth league. I think it might have been 3. So when I turned 3,
They
I
let you
I
bowl?
joined the youth league and slowly worked my way up. And for the first couple of years, it was just that. It was just fun going on Saturday mornings, going to bowl youth league. And
Right.
I think around 9 or 10 is probably when I started bowling tournaments.
Yeah.
And at first they were tournaments within the city where I grew up, and eventually they were a little bit more regional. We'd travel 30 minutes to a different bowling center in the same area.
That's cool.
And I think at 11 was my first provincial tournament, which kind of like a state tournament.
Right.
And then I bowled that every summer. There was a provincial tournament that you had to qualify for through your league, and then you had to qualify in your region. So every region in the province sent 2 players per age group to that, and so I'd bowl that, and really that was it. It was just tournaments around the province for a while until I was 15, 16, and then I started competing on like the national level. And my first team trials was when I made Team Canada for the first time, so I was 16. Didn't really bowl anything at the national level before then. But there just aren't as many opportunities as there are, like here. Well, you have a much bigger population than we have, first of all, and then a lot bigger bowling population also.
Well, and it keeps growing.
It's
unbelievable.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, and even, we talk about junior gold a lot because really the SYC is designed to help train kids to go and bowl bigger tournaments. It is a big tournament, right?
Yeah.
You feel great when you win an SYC.
Well, it's turned into a national level tournament.
It has, yeah.
27 states here.
And the kids that bowl the national tournaments, you'll see them there. So a lot of kids will tell us they love SYCs because we pull from 27 different states. So 27 states coming together in a weekend, that's a pretty good learning environment.
Yeah.
Especially, and then add in some challenging patterns. But when you look at junior gold and you travel to junior gold and you see it and you hear it, 4,000 kids, and it's just incredible. And I bowled junior gold twice, but there weren't all the age divisions then. It was boys and girls, and it was 1,000 boys and about 500 girls, and call it a day.
Yeah.
And now it's so amazing what it's just large.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of that is why you see it on the international stage. You see Team USA being a lot more advanced at a younger age. You see all these kids now; they're like the guy who just Miles on lane 17, and the other one-hander that throws it really well. They're 12 years old, and
Right. Yeah.
they've got solid fundamentals. They understand lane play. They understand ball choices. They've still got a lot to learn, but
Sure.
they have a lot more knowledge at that age that anybody did when I was that age.
Oh yeah.
So they're getting younger fast, or they're getting better at a younger age.
Well, the thing that I remember when I was a kid, I remember them specifically teaching me to stay balanced at the foul line. And I was older than the kids that we're watching right now, but
Yeah.
you see these kids now, and I think that's one thing across the boards that it just shows how much the kids are watching YouTube videos and they're learning, but also the coaching in the US, the foundation and the balance of the line is so much better across the age divisions at such a younger age. Like, hardly ever do you see youth bowlers falling off their shots in the U18 division.
Yeah.
Which is just incredible. Like, I still think I fall off my shot.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, so Joe says here, just like we're talking about. He said his son will be bowling on a middle school team this year for the second year. He's done some individual tournaments, and he's only 9.
Wow.
So it's, he's getting tournament experience early. Kristen Potter says we need more tournaments like the SYC so the youth can have this type of opportunity. And I mean, I think there are a lot of tournaments out there, and regionally, Storm sponsors a lot of tournaments, especially at the youth level. There's tournaments across the country that happen monthly that are smaller than the SYC, but you still will get your feet wet, and you'll get to compete with kids in your own region and get ready for a tournament like the SYC. It's all stepping stones, right? Like, you start bowling league, and then you master bowling league, and you're like, man, I'm hitting above my average every week. Now I want to go test myself on the next level. And you might go to a state tournament, or you might go to a regional tournament series. Like in this area, we have the Southwest Gold Tour. A lot of these kids on their bio sheets say that they bowl in that. It's a wonderful tournament, and it happens monthly. And you see kids that are from different parts of your own area, and then you get to test yourself against them. And then the next step would be like an SYC.
Yeah, that's one of the, you touched on something that's really important, is going through the different steps, going through the ranks and making your way, making your mark at this level, and then making your mark in the next age group, and eventually bowling national level youth tournaments, and then once you age out, bowling collegiately.
Exactly,
and just making your mark at every level and just progressing that way. There's just a lot of opportunities for these kids to learn.
Yeah, and
obviously everyone here wants to do well and everyone wants to win, but the bigger picture is everyone's here learning about their game, and everyone's here to get better.
Totally.
I think that's what I love about Storm, is there's so much involvement at the youth level. They understand that the youth is how you grow bowling. And, there's just a lot of that. There's a lot of investment at the youth level. There's a lot of investment in the future, and it's a win-win. These kids get these opportunities that we didn't have before, and they're going to keep bowling, and they're going to remember Storm, and Storm's going to benefit from that, and they're going to keep growing it and keep making the sport overall just that much better.
Yeah, and it really comes from Bill and Barb, because Bill and Barb at Storm, Bill and Barb Chrisman, they are our owners, for anyone that doesn't know, and they truly love bowling, just bowling, period. They love all bowling. And they love youth bowling, they love professional bowling, and they sponsor, like you said, they sponsor bowling at every level, and they have been fortunate to have a company that they can sponsor all of these events, and it just gives them such joy. Like, Bill really loves when bowlers come through and they'll tour Storm, and they'll thank him, and he loves meeting bowlers. We just got a story that came in. A random bowler was walking down the street in Seattle, and Bill happened to be visiting his son that lives in Seattle, and he came up and said hi. And Bill remembers that, and he's like, yeah, I remember meeting him. But Bill was wearing a Storm logo, because he never doesn't wear a Storm logo, and so it's really. Speaking on behalf of someone that works at the company, it's awesome to work for such owners that they just value bowling, which is great.
Yeah, their passion translates to everything else they do.
Yeah. So we are lucky, and we're lucky that the SYC was started, and they love it. So Trevor gets away with a little Brooklyn. So we have our bowlers that have joined us on lanes 15 and 16. Let's see who we have over there. Got Mr. Micah Jensen, Troy Allgood, Brady McDonough, which Brady is the Storm bowling science kid. Have you watched any of his videos?
Yeah.
Pretty clever. Dawson Cole, Andrew Birchfield, and Keenan Parr. So lanes 17 and 18, they're in the 8th frame. They'll finish up, and then we'll spotlight 15 and 16 specifically. So hang tight if you're watching a bowler on 15 and 16. They'll make the big screen in a few frames here. see the U12. Since we're in the last game, let's see what our race looks like. Trevor Mason, who we're watching on this pair, he is currently leading at plus 20, but Miles Gordon is in second, and he was minus 15 going into this game. And I'm hearing cheering. Did we have a 300?
Looks like it could be a 300.
I didn't get a text. Where are my watchdogs down there? We'll give you an update if we get an update from our friends. I didn't even see where it was.
Looked like it was around 29:30.
Okay. So Miles. Oh, it looked like it might have been Gianna Brandolino, because she just came off, and I'm not sure. Don't quote me. We'll figure it out.
We're not speculating. Facts only.
Yes, there's some emotion from Mr. Trevor. That's what we usually see.
With a shirt that looks like it'll fit him for a couple of years.
I think he'll be bowling for a couple years, so it'll work out.
Yeah.
Now Trevor is leading, so he wants the solid game here so that Miles does not catch him. Although
On the same pair here?
yeah, Miles Gordon, who's up, he's
Yeah.
on lane, he's F, and then Trevor Mason is C.
Oh.
So, but Trevor had a pretty solid lead. He's up 20. I'm sorry, he's up 35. So-
Miles just made that up with a double here.
Uh-oh.
It'll be close. It'll come down to the 10th.
So Trevor needs it. So that's where the fist bump was.
Was anybody behind them close?
No. Joseph Parkins was the silver medal, or I'm sorry, he was third currently. But he was minus 49. So unless he's having a superstar game, he'll be on the medal stand though, because Caden Kelso was right behind them, but he's pretty far down. So Joseph has his medal kind of tied up.
So bronze is tied up, and now we're just waiting to find out between first and second.
Yes, I believe.
All right, this will be interesting.
Although if Trevor doesn't have a good 10th frame, Joseph could go. I don't think he could go around him though.
Where's Joseph?
So Joseph was in third. So I need to write this down. So Joseph is minus 49. Miles was minus 15. And Trevor was plus 20.
Looks like Miles struck the first shot on the 10th. He'll be in the 220s at least.
Right.
That's a big game.
That's a huge game. So he's officially taken his minus out of the play. Easily.
Another strike.
So Miles will get to, so he had 785. Now we're waiting. He could go 230, he could get to 238.
That's enough to go around Trevor.
Easily.
Even if Trevor strikes out.
Yep.
It's like 194 for Joseph.
So what's Trevor's max score right now? What's it? We're 129.
189.
189. So Miles could get the gold, and then Joseph could get.
Joseph just had 194.
Yeah, Joseph still is getting bronze. He can't get. Yeah, he can't get up to Trevor. I think Trevor with that strike really solidified at least silver.
Okay.
But I think Miles just went around him for gold.
He did, because you said, what was the difference? 30
Yeah.
some pins?
Yep, 30
Yeah.
some pins.
Got 236, so that's enough.
So that's 2 golds for Miles.
Impressive. Going for the perfect weekend.
Why not?
How many times has that happened
You know,
where someone's won gold in every event?
it's not many. I know Morgan Klein did it here.
Okay.
And we thought the first one, but Jillian Martin did it one time, and Spencer did it another time. So I would say there's less than 5. But
Okay.
we really need to go back and do our
Yeah.
stats now that it's so far in so many years.
Mm-hmm.
What we should have done was keep them as they were happening, but it's always the hindsight thing, right?
Yeah.
But I know it's less than 5 times that someone's done gold in all of them. And I will also tell you, we've had twice someone has won that hasn't medaled.
Oh, so maybe finish 4th or 5th consistently.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I think that's almost, that's incredible when they do that.
Yeah. Well, it shows versatility.
Yeah.
Shows consistency. That looks
So-
pretty good too.
So I'm hearing reports that Micah Voris shot 300,
Okay.
which I don't know where he was in the standings, but I'm
What-
sure I'll get the video.
Which age group would that be?
He is U18 boys. Let's look and see where he was at. So Micah was in 4th. Oh no, he's in 4th. See, this is when I should not look at the standings because some games are in and some are not. So Micah finished with 1109. He was plus 109. And he's 4th.
And the other scores are all in.
Yep. So Nick Gregg was 1187 plus 187 on this. Nash Fitzgerald plus 116. Aiden Farnsworth plus 111, and then Micah was plus 109 with a 300. And now we'll watch 15 and 16 while we finish out. So, but overall, let's see where that puts him overall. So interesting, overall, with not all the scores in, Micah Voris is plus 249,
Okay.
and he's leading with not all the scores in. Bear with me, though. It's pretty solid, plus 249 for 10
For
games.
10 games, yeah. 224 average.
Now, in the division that we're watching here, let's look up and see where some of these bowlers are. So, Dawson Cole, who's on this pair and is a 2-time SYC champ, he is having a rough go on the medium. I don't know what he has this game, but let's see. Dawson would be the D, letter D. And I would still say pretty rough go at it.
Kind of rough, yeah.
He does not like medium.
Pacing 175.
I'm listening. I'm overhearing Brady tell this little group of bowlers that's listening. He's talking about what he did 2 years ago here on the short pattern.
Yeah, talk about living in the moment.
Well, what's funny, and I know that. Do you keep a notebook of like where you bowl or like the centers if the PBA tour repeats to different or repeats to the same places?
Yeah, I'll keep notes about the lanes themselves. Um, not necessarily about how I bowled in
Right.
certain places, but I'll keep notes about. They're mostly topography notes. If one pair hooks a lot more than the rest of the building, or if a pair is super tight, because usually that's related to the topography, and regardless of the pattern, it'll be pretty similar. Or if there's a part of the lane, let's say, I know in Oklahoma when you get to the high end in Shawnee, you get to the high end, and those pairs hook a lot more. And the more you get left, the more they hook. So if we're bowling on a short pattern, that might not affect me too much. But if we're bowling on a long pattern, that's good information to know. So little things like that, I'll keep notes of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of the bowlers do that too here. They're already doing it. They're so ahead of the game.
Yeah. Well, they probably do it on their phones now. I know Chris Barnes was walking around with an actual notebook for the longest time.
Yeah.
He had all of that written down.
It's amazing.
I think he might have made everything digital now.
I don't know.
Maybe not. I've seen him pull out his phone a couple times.
I like it. We have a missing backpack too. Earlier we had a missing IQ tour. We're having some trouble keeping track of stuff at North Rock today.
Yeah.
I do have the video of Micah shooting 300. I'll get it loaded up for the feed tomorrow. Gets the 10 out.
Very nice.
Yeah, we'll show it to y'all tomorrow. I'll post it tonight. Don't worry. You'll get to see it. All right, so we are wrapping up 10 games of qualifying. Not qualifying. 10 games of bowling already today.
It was a busy day.
It was a busy day. It went fast, though. Now it's time for the families and the bowlers to go and get something delicious for dinner. North Rock Lanes takes care of us, but the area of Wichita is really cool.
Lots of restaurants.
Yeah, for those who have never been to Wichita, it's not what you think it would be, I don't think. I don't know what you think Wichita would be, but it's not what you think it would be.
Right. Whatever you think, it's not that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of restaurants around here.
Yeah.
For a relatively small town. Now, if I say that around here, people get upset because this is the kind of the big city around here. There's a lot of people that come to college here from smaller towns around.
Yeah.
But I'll call it a small town. I think there's maybe 400,000 or 500,000 people.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of restaurants, lots of variety, lots of mom and pop restaurants that are pretty good.
I think it's great. I think if you're a youth bowler looking for a place to call home, this is a definite home away from hometown. And I think that's why you see a lot of the Wichita State graduates stay.
Yeah.
There's a large percentage.
Yeah, a lot do. Packy Hanrahan still lives here. I still live here.
Brent Bowers still lives here.
Brent Bowers, yeah.
Even
I think Wichita State does a good job at keeping the alumni involved in the current teams.
Oh, that's cool.
So a lot of people know each other. If you've been through at one point or another, if you've been through Wichita State University, there's I don't want to it sounds cliche to call it a fraternity or something like that, but
Sure.
yeah, there's definitely a sense of I don't know what to call
Community or
Yeah.
something like, yeah.
it. English is my second language. That's whenever I'm looking for a word, that's my excuse. Every
So what
time.
would it be in French?
I don't know.
All right, Mr. Micah Jensen is from South Dakota. He just finished up on lane 16. Micah's a good kid. These bowlers did not like this pair. I don't know if they didn't like the pattern. They're all kind of together in their dislike of what's going on right now. Sometimes you get to end on a high note, and sometimes you get to end on a let's just be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And that leaves a different taste in your mouth. There's a lot of ways to get to even. There's a lot of ways to get to 14 under. There's a lot of ways to get to 100 over.
Yeah.
Sometimes 100 over with a 160 as the last game doesn't feel so good.
Right.
And sometimes minus 10 with a 280 feels a little
better.
Feels like you salvaged something, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That is true. But the good news is there's a few ways to look at this, right? So say you had a rough day today. There's a brand new block that starts tomorrow, round 3, and the PBA Junior give us a bonus scholarship.
Very
so
nice.
the final round 3, is the Never Give Up scholarship. So all of the gold medalists tomorrow get a bonus $250.
Nice.
Which is really cool, and that's all from our sponsors at PBA Junior.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's another very nice partnership. Nice seeing the PBA get involved at the youth level too.
Yeah.
I think everybody's on board. Everybody gets it.
Yeah.
These youth bowlers are the future. You've got to make it worth their while to come bowl these tournaments.
Right, and connect them to the people that they will bowl against, or the people that they'll work with on the PBA. So I think it's great. See, we'll take that. End with a double. Let's finish it out. Brady still has a good game going here. And there's some cheering to end. Brady is his fan club has appeared.
There's a lot of them.
Which it's just a friend group. I was giving Bella a hard time because she hangs out with this big group of U12 and U15 bowlers. Actually, I think they're all U15 now. No, Trevor's out there. So they were cheering so loud when she won her medal, and she's like hiding. She's like, I don't know them. I don't know. I'm like, just embrace them. It's your fan club. And Joss was ready to go all out on that, and Brady didn't strike.
Yeah.
He's like, what the heck? But with 2, Brady can still get 200. But knowing him, he'll probably spare this. And
he did.
He did. All right, that's a good way to end. Francois, thank you for joining me for 2 games to finish out this round. Thanks for joining us all weekend long. You're giving back this weekend by being with the kids, so we really appreciate you being here. I think the families really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks for having us. It's great.
All right, so Storm Nation, we will be back tomorrow. Our round starts at 10 a.m. We'll bowl 5 games on the long pattern, and at the end, the SYC champions will be named. So we will see you tomorrow.